did have a limit order here on the 50%, price just mitigated the top area of this 1 minute zone. And after this mitigation, price didn't create any liquidity for this zone. It just simply broke the structure to the upside, formed another valid area that, caused the break of the structure, meaning that you can't expect a further deeper 50% mitigation of that origin 1 minute area, because price couldn't form liquidity. It just simply kept breaking the structure, created a break of structure. Of course, if you want to enter here, you need liquidity for this trade, because this is continuation type 1. I've created a webinar and basically a whole plan around continuations. So yeah, I won't explain continuations in this video, but this is continuation type 1 and you need liquidity for this trade. But obviously you will wait for that. But we are not talking about continuations. We are talking about the 50% mitigation on the 1 minute area. So in this case, price mitigated only 5 to 10% of this area, meaning you're getting left behind on the 50%. This is a no tech for you. You are looking for continuation trades. You are looking for further long trades on some higher price action regions. For example, after a 50 minutes / 5 minutes supply flip, where price flips the supply, leaves a 1 minute zone behind, and you're going to come from it, you're going to wait for liquidity, you're going to use any of the continuation type plans. That's clean line. But we're talking about that when can we expect a further zone mitigation. And I just drew another example for you, which I will show you. Here it is. Okay. Bear with me, please, while I mark these out and put them in place. So here's the example. So the exact same 15-minute zone has been mitigated. Price changed the character just like it did the way before in the previous example. But the only difference right here is that, of course, you had a limit order on the 50%. Again, you had a limit order on the 50%. Price mitigates the higher region of the area. Like 5% to 10% is getting mitigated. But the only difference here and in between the first scenario, first example that I showed you, is that price forms liquidity inside of the 1 minute area. Now a liquidity trend line is getting formed. Here's a perfect liquidity trend line above the 50%. And of course, there will be like a 4th touch, there will be like a 5th touch. This could be an even bigger liquidity trend line. So in this case, when price forms a liquidity trend line, or double bottoms, or triple bottoms, or in a short scenario, forms double taps, triple taps, like this one. So price just, comes down, mitigates the 10%, and after a 10% mitigation, it forms triple bottoms, or just simply double bottoms inside of this 1 minute area. Then in this case, and only in this case, this is really important, that only in this case, when price forms liquidity inside of a 1 minute area, you can expect a deeper and further 50% mitigation of that exact same 1 minute area that has been mitigated before. So if there's a liquidity trend line and price, let's just assume, broke the structure from this demand area, likely, even if it forms liquidity here for this area, even if it forms the liquidity for this zone that broke the structure, there's still liquidity below it, and there's still liquidity build up for the 50% mitigation on this 1 minute zone. Meaning the 50% of the origin of this exact same zone mitigation has a higher chance than price reversing on this upper area. So once again, even if it forms liquidity for the structure breaking zone, or it doesn't have to break structure, it just has to form liquidity inside of this zone, even if it's a liquid trend line, even if it's double bottoms, even if it's triple bottoms, then you can expect a further 50% mitigation. You can set a limit order right here on this area, because it has a high chance that it will come back to the 50%, sweep out the liquidity, sweep out technically the early buyers, and will tag you in on the 50%. If you're actively watching my recaps, you can actually recognize that I'm using these semantics pretty fucking often. Sorry for saying the curse word, never mind. So yeah, I'm using this pretty often, right? All right. So talking about this thing that, as I said, if price forms liquidity for this zone, even if it forms liquidity right here, for example, double bottoms, triple bottoms, liquidity trend line, any kind of liquidity form for this area, but there's still liquidity built up for the 50%. As I said, price has a high chance to come back down to the 50% mitigation on the exact same 1 minute area, then reversing here on this zone. But it doesn't mean that you have to always wait for the 50% mitigation, and you can give this area a try when there's liquidity above, because there's still liquidity, and this is still part of our plan. If there's liquidity, then this will be continuation type 1, and you can still try an entry here. So You just have to combine all of the things you learn here in one simple trading plan. And you have to remember for these things, you have to remember for the semantics, for the methods that we are using, for the strategy that we are using. You have to learn all of these without exception, and then you can combine them together. Because you can just combine the risk split entry here in the semantic, where you can set a limit order here, give it a try. If it sweeps you out, then you will have the second limit here on the 50%. And if this sweeps you out, then this will tag you in, and likely this will be a winner, this will be a loser. But all of the wins right here, I mean, all this loss will be covered by this win. So yeah, all you have to do is to combine these educations, topics, methods, semantics, everything together into a trading plan. I'm literally spoon feeding you with all of the materials that you can use. And all you have to do is to learn these, take notes, remember for them, assemble them into a trading plan, and use them actively while you are trading live. So yeah, once again, that's the only scenario when you can expect on a deeper 50% mitigation on a 1 minute area. If there's liquidity inside of it, if there's liquidity is getting formed inside of it after the top zone mitigation, top region mitigation. And as I said before, on a 50 minutes / 4 hour zone, you can always expect on a deeper 50% mitigation. So yeah, that's it for today. That's it for this video. Hope it made sense and you will learn something from it. Take care, guys. Cheers. Love you all.